Well, my name is Daniel Noiseux. I consider myself as passionate about old cars, and I was very fortunate to be part of the team that more or less created what has become the T-Rex today. That was a long time ago, and it's amazing to see that the T-Rex has evolved into what it is today. I'm very proud of that. I've always had a very special interest for weird cars, if we can say that. And I had a very special interest for three-wheelers, which the debate about the validity and the safety and how a three-wheeler performs dates to way back into the 1930s, where Morgan, with its three-wheeler, had a very capable vehicle that was performing in races against much more expensive and evolved vehicles, and they were doing extremely well. So I thought that the three-wheeler concept had a lot of value to it. And after purchasing a three-wheeler Morgan and realizing that I would never fit into it because of the size of it, I tried to get into the idea of producing a repro Morgan with modern components, and started a process of finding the talents locally to do that project. So that got me to meeting with Paul Deutschmann, who at that time was beginning to get quite a reputation for his Spexter, and also his association with Reeves Callaway for the Callaway Corvettes. That was the start of a very long and fruitful friendship and partnership in different projects. So with Paul, I was also introduced through the Clyde Kwok family, to Daniel Campagna, who had this amazing chassis, three-wheeler, of course, which after the first road test convinced me to forget the retro ride and to focus on producing something a lot more modern. And that's where Paul and I got into the process of convincing Daniel Campagna of starting a new concern to produce what eventually became the T-Rex. And we refined the idea, convinced Daniel to kind of modify his creation to deliver a turnkey unit where we would have a lot more control over the style of the machine and also the overall quality. The idea was to more or less standardize under one mechanical chassis. Turns out it was a Suzuki GSX 1100, an excellent basis for what became the T-Rex eventually. I would say that the performance that the T-Rex delivers is very, very hard to match. Just the price versus performance is unmatchable today unless you go into really exotic cars. It was also the idea that we could pursue the heritage of the Lotus Caterham 7, where somebody could drive it on a daily basis, do some lapping or some racing, and drive back home. So that would make it accessible, make that type of a vehicle accessible for a budget that was really a lot easier to get into the sport. If I look back 20 years later, I would think that we were probably, we came in too early with the concept. The fact it's still there 20 years later and that new players are coming into that market proves that the concept is not only viable, but it is an interesting concept. It is safe, it is quick, it really delivers. That is why we now see major players getting into the game with more or less interesting vehicles, but the T-Rex is still a landmark and is there to stay for sure.